This has one of the greatest game design stories I've heard of so far. That's why we're taking the initiative to tell this epic tale of game design around a warm campfire, or in my case, the exhaust of my video cards. Forced is a tactical arena co-op game, as they call it, by BetaDwarf Entertainment. It started with a group of 8 people moving into an empty classroom illegally. They had refrigerators, microwaves, beds, and PCs to work on this game, and they lived there for 7 months. Then they were caught. They were thrown out, but they pooled their savings to rent a house, where they lived for a year with a growing team working on the game. Their money ran out, so they raised another $65,000 on Kickstarter to continue. They moved into a new place, and 2.5 years later, they still haven't finished the game. So they took out a $200,000 loan. It took over 3 years from start to finish for this game to appear on Steam. These people are crazy, but they finished what they started, so let's take a look at this game. The story goes like this. You're cast away as slaves in the gladiator pit. You're condemned to fight to the death, but if you win, you gain your freedom. Balfus is the wisp that accompanies you, and together you face the deadly trials of the pit. You have 4 different weapons to choose from. The bow gives you a ranged attack, the hammer is an area of effect weapon, claws for DPS, and the shield is for tanking. The combat is fairly basic. It's not the most amazing thing in the world of video games, but it works. If you have 4 players, each taking a different weapon, you'll have a versatile set of abilities with everyone having a specific role they fulfill. There's RPG elements in the game. Instead of gaining experience, you have to earn crystals in the arenas to unlock abilities and extra slots for them. You can pick and choose which ones you can use, but you can only have a maximum of 3 abilities and 3 passives. These depend on the weapon you choose, and you configure everything outside the arenas. The arenas themselves feel more like a puzzle than a combat area. You have a wisp you move around to activate objects and complete the objectives outside of killing stuff. During this time, some monsters are spawning, but the AI seems very simplistic. They only chase you directly from the point they spawn in. They don't try to flank you or jump around and try to dodge your attacks. They just move towards you and attack when they're close enough. You can kite them all day unless they're fast enough. Do that while completing the objectives, which some people refer to as puzzles. I don't like calling them that because they're very simple. Most of the time, it entails moving the wisp through a number of objects to activate or destroy them. More complex objectives involves moving boxes onto pressure plates. I feel like it's trying to half-ass 2 things instead of whole-assing one thing well. You want arena combat? Okay. You want some puzzle solving? Sure, but the combat and the puzzles are very simple. It feels like you're doing chores instead of being sent through a gauntlet of fire and brimstone, and every time you quit the game, you have to rebind all your skills when you come back. This becomes annoying later when you have many skills unlocked and you're trying to remember what you were using. The game is fine for single player as far as I can tell, but the multiplayer is where it's at when it's working. I never got a multiplayer game going, and if you look on the Steam forums, neither can many other people. It's at the point where people are demanding refunds, so with the features, the gameplay, and the drama here, how will this do in the video game market? I'd say the game had somewhat of a good launch. The big surge of exposure comes from the developer's story. Well, cool story, bro. You got your foot through the door, now you have to stay here, and the gameplay in general doesn't lend itself to that. Again, the combat and the puzzles are fairly basic, and there's only so much you can do with that. The average player can get bored of that rather quickly. Add to that the problems with multiplayer, the inability to get into a game, and the lag spikes for those who can get a game going. The developers are posting on the Steam forums to address the problems, though I'm unsure about how much progress they're making. After a few months, I think the game will be dead. There are plenty of co-op games with faster gameplay and much more exposure than this, and most people will want to play those instead. The game will still have continued support through patches and free DLC, so by this time, the problems with multiplayer should be fixed. But without a community to support the game, you'll have to convince your friends to play with you if you want to play co-op. For the most part, I think this is a risky purchase. Keep in mind, this is not an alpha or a beta, this is a finished game. Its big defining feature is the co-op, and there are big problems with it. The only amazing thing I can say about this game is how it was made. It's an adventure, that's for sure, but now I feel bad for them with the way the game turned out. It's $15, I'd say hold off until I do a follow-up in a few months, but even then, the gameplay doesn't impress me enough, so let's see what happens. Thanks for watching.